We are live.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to. I've forgotten what the. I almost forgot the name of my own venue. Aside tonight, we find ourselves on floor 8 of the mysterious asylum, where all the assembled Canaanites are gathered for the ritual of the Vaulderie. Now, floor 8 is the governess's personal floor, and unlike her office, which you found yourselves in the other day when you were first embraced, this room is more like a boardroom. It's got a long, beautifully designed black table that goes down the centre, and then the chairs alongside the table are red and black. And you've all been given, there's plenty of seats to go around. But the group, and your sires, minus the governess at this point, are all waiting for her arrival. So the scene starts with the various characters waiting.
Patricia will look at her sire. She's probably sitting next to her, like, what's going on? What are we all here for?
Violet will just gently squeeze your hand and say, "Oh, we're going to do the Vaulderie."
Vaulderie? What's that?
Well, it's the ritual where we all drink from the same cup, and it makes us stronger as a pack.
Ooh, sweet. I like that.
It's a blood ritual. It's about working together as a unit. It's real fun, and it tastes nice.
No.
You notice that Violet's dressed up for the occasion. Usually she wears like dungarees or sort of like 1960s sort of casual clothes. But today she's actually worn a dress and she's put a ribbon in her hair.
I feel somewhat underdressed, she says with a shy smile.
Violet just leans in and whispers, "I just want to stay on the governess's good side. She's still annoyed at me about that thing that I did last month."
Oh, yeah, good.
I didn't mean to do it. I mean, I know it was her pet and I really shouldn't have been playing with him. But I was lonely and I was bored. But now I have you.
She grins, almost happy to be referred to as that because of Blood Bond Stage 3.
She kisses you on the cheek and just smiles. She seems to be sort of fairly. There's areas in the building that she gets anxious in, but this doesn't seem to be one of them. What's the rest of y'all doing? Saying, thinking.
The doctor is sitting. She's seems to still be taking notes. Still seems to be going over things. But it's less so now. She's waiting. She seems to be a bit anxious to see Dr. Wicker. Make sure that she's here.
She's here. She sits near to you. She sits to your left. She sits next to you on your left. She's in sort of business mode as well. She's put on her business suit. She's got a notepad. She's put her hair up. She looks quite serious. Because she's got to take part in something soon. So she just seems to be watching the group in a similar sort of way to what you're doing. Taylor, for you on the other hand, Theodore's leaning back in his chair. He's like undid the top button of his business suit. He looks bored.
I mean, if he's in the mood for it, she's probably sitting on his lap with like an arm around his neck, kind of like.
He's bored right now, and he does like, you're hot, so he's just like, always the waiting. Governess always has to make a fucking entrance.
She thinks, well, some people just like it this way, my love.
Hmm.
She's also dressed up.
He leans in and whispers, "You're hotter."
She'll whisper into your ear, I know.
And
She's also super, really dressed up for the occasion.
you see him look over at Eleanor, with her notepad, and also Wilbrand, and just say, "Get a load of it. Apples don't fall far from the tree."
She'll smile at them.
What's Damien doing?
Damien's probably sat quite close to Dr. Whitaker.
Wicker.
Wicker, excuse me. Probably on their right side if Wilbrand is on their sorry, I'm getting the perspective messed up here. If Dr. Wilbrand is on Dr. Wicker's right, then Damien will be on their left.
Yeah, she does. She takes a note. She doesn't ignore you. She does sort of acknowledge you when you come in, and just sort of have a little bit of a conversation about you're okay. But she seems quite focused on taking these notes.
And Damien would have been surprisingly a lot more calmer this evening. He's probably not his usual semi-excited self. He's still quite as charming as he usually is, but it's more kind of more sedate than it is as usual.
What about my voodoo queen? What are you doing, darling?
I would say Beatrice is sat in a chair, preferably with which faces the door in, and she's wearing black kind of power clothing. Well, what she considers to be a power clothing ensemble.
So you're all sat around, and eventually the doors will open, and they're opened by two men, dressed as sort of butler, 1920s penguin suits, black coat and tails. And they open the door, and then another two men come in with a silver tray, and on that silver tray is a large, ornate goblet. And they come and place the goblet down on the table, wordlessly. You notice that all of these men look the same. It's like they're quadruplets. But at the same time, it's hard to pinpoint, if you're asked to describe them in a lineup, you'd have a hard time. Once they're gone, you can't really remember much about them, really. They're just so plain. And a few seconds later, after these men disappear, you hear the familiar high-heeled footsteps of the governess as she makes her way into the room. She's wearing a long, pretty much see-through lace dress, black high heels. And she comes and stands at the head of the table and looks at you. The doors behind her are closed. With a quiet click. Rodriguez, will you please put your progeny down? This is a serious matter.
She'll sigh and get off him.
You can dry hump each other later. We are here to do a ritual. I will have decorum in this room. when we observe the sacred rituals of our Lord Cain. She looks to Eleanor, who stands up, puts down her pen and paper, and stands up. And she walks over and reaches into. You see her put her leg up on the table, pull up her skirt, and then she's got this silver blade tucked into her stockings in like a sheath. She pulls it out and hands it to the governess, and the governess takes it, and she says, "Now, what is going to take place is that each person in this room will cut themselves with this blade and drop a few drops of their blood into this preordained chalice. And then we will all take turns drinking from the chalice. All of us here. You will all drink from this chalice, do you understand?"
Yes, I
You know.
understand.
Yes, madam.
Quite seriously, too. Quite well, a bit different to how she was before the governess got in the room. She'll look very serious and just say, "Yes."
Beatrice just nods her head once.
Once this ritual is complete, we can discuss a few matters that are pressing. But first things first. Eleanor? She hands the chalice to Eleanor, who you see holds it up, and she says a prayer. She says, "May Cain, our Father, our unholy Father, bless the sanctity of this pact that we are creating on this night, and may the drinking of this blood formulate the bonds that we need to work together in his service." And then she holds the chalice up to the sky, holds it down to her chest, takes the knife, cuts her wrist, drops she drips some of her blood into it, and then hands it to the governess, who sort of, the way the governess, like, Eleanor does it with, Eleanor seems to just cut herself, and she's just like, "Oh, get this over with," you know? It's a very quick motion. The way the governess does it is slow. You see her skin part, and the blood flows down. And then she hands the knife to... She looks as if she wants to hand it to... She looks around at the rest of the people in the group and just hands it to Beatrice.
Beatrice will take the knife, and she looks at it with a bit of reverence, and she'll slit her wrists the right way, vertically up the vein, and drip some blood into the chalice. After that's done, she'll pass the knife to Dr. Wicker.
Who will take it? Nod.
Dr. Wilbrand, do you mean, I'm guessing?
Wicker, right?
She's already done it.
Oh, sorry.
You started it.
Sorry, I'm probably confused you by calling her Eleanor. That's what the Countess calls her. That's her first name.
Okay, gotcha. Dr. Wilbrand.
She will take it. Nod. Acknowledgement. We'll just... she won't say anything. She'll just cut herself, and she seems to know what she's doing. She just makes almost like an incision and just licks the blood. drifts the blood into the chalice. And it passes it to Damien.
Damien takes the cup and the blade, and in a manner which makes it look like he's familiar with the feel of a blade in his hand. You notice that he actually, as he's gripping the knife, he actually puts his first finger on the tip, on the top part of it.
Oh, holy crap! It's sharp. It really is.
No. Like how a surgeon does it.
It's sharp as fuck.
Okay, that's fine. And
like literally, it's more like a dagger.
what was it?
So it's bladed on both sides.
All right.
And
in that case, he'll just do it. He'll just put his finger on the guard of the blade, if there is any on it.
What's a guard? It's just like a silver dagger.
Just basically something so that he can like do a more precision cut.
Okay.
And then he'll cut his wrist and put the blood into the cup and pass it on to Patricia.
Mark.
Yeah, Mark, you're next.
Okay, also Peter, you're breathing heavily into your mic.
I just
I know it's exciting doing the ritual, but you need to cut down heavy breathing.
just seconds before you handed me that knife.
Ritual, heavy breathing.
Just seconds before you handed me that knife, I literally put something in my mouth, so I needed to finish chewing first. So,
kind of ritual, guys. It's not that kind of ritual.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Sabbat.
Yes.
Damn it! Now it was Alex who made the Cardinal Dolan reference. Okay.
It's first drinks, then orgy. No, first drinks, then business talk, then orgy. There you go.
Great heresy, friend, Naboldery.
And with that, Patricia will take the knife and like she will not like normally she's like has a smile and a witty glimpse in her eyes, but right now she's looking serious, and she takes the knife and cuts. Doesn't cut deep as such, but cuts enough to let some blood flow into the chalice before she closes again and passes the knife to Taylor.
Thank you, darling. And Taylor will directly just put her wrist over the glass chalice and just cut tiny bit, also just enough to get a few drops of blood in it, and she'll twist the better blade in her hand so that the handle is towards her side, who she hands it to.
He like roughly pulls up his sleeve. You can see track marks on his arm. It's obvious that like these wounds you've seen them before. It's just for anyone else at the table. You can see that it's quite clear to anyone with medical knowledge that this guy injects or has injected. He just grabs a knife, cuts his arm, pours the blood in, shoves down his sleeve again. He seems sort of not quite begrudgingly to do it, but he doesn't like looking at it when he does it. And he passes the knife to Violet, and she takes it and she just like gleefully holds it. And she's just like, "Oh, I get to do the final one. Lucky me!" And then she just all of a sudden just like cuts her hand, and you see the blood spray for a second into the, and she's just like, all done. And then she hands it back to the governess. And the governess takes it and she says, "Thank you, Violet." And Violet just sort of less gleefully returns to her seat. And the governess says, "Quite simply now, we all drink. You may make a toast if you wish." For my part, I would like to welcome you into this family. And I wish you all to consider me your mother. She drinks, and then she hands it to Eleanor. And for the sake of ease, I'll just say that all the sires drink. And then it starts with the rest of you. So, what we'll do is we'll start with Jason and then
Okay.
just go from left to right. So, Jason, make your rolls first.
Okay. I found out a code to use in roles where you can do the private. You can basically do a private role so nobody can see what they're basically, so no one can see what other people's results of the role is. So we don't end up knowing what other people's vulnerability ratings is to us. So no cheating in that regard. You just literally put. In fact, I'll type the code in for the group chat. Just type that space and then like number of the dice.
No one else can see it.
Yeah,
so you're gonna have.
But we are. But I am going to be sent. We are all going to be sending you the results of the dice roll.
Jason, if you're gonna do that, can you copy and paste or screenshot what you rolled to me in private chat, please?
Aye, boss.
Right. Okay.
But I'll get the private chat up so I can do it instantly. Okie dokes. Here we go. Rolling mine. It's 8d10, right?
Yeah.
Dokes. That's not a bad result. Just print the screen. Just check to see if it actually did that. Oh yes, that's perfect. Right, I'll send it you through just momentarily.
Mark, you're up.
Yep, rolling 8d10. Gotcha. As she lifts the cup to drink from it, Patricia looks around at the assembled crowd, and says, "Today we become even more of a family, and we stand together. The night is long, and the Dark Father is coming." And then she drinks.
Is it my turn? Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
Left to right, so it's your turn.
I didn't have time to prepare a speech, but Taylor would definitely make a big speech because she's got those things. Wait, let me make sure. Let me check on her demeanor and nature. She has got gallant, so yeah, she'll make a speech. I didn't have time to prepare one, but yeah, she'll make a big speech. I can even roll for it if you want.
Yeah, roll for it. Why not?
Charisma and wait.
Performance.
Yeah, charisma. Would any of her specialties count?
What specialties do you have?
Performance is acting, and her charisma.
Are you lying?
I'm looking. Oh no, wait, charisma is 3. So yeah, I mean, she wants to make it big. I'm not sure what she's saying. So she's probably making it.
Unless you're playing a character, what you're saying is fake, then no.
Okay, no, it's not completely fake. It's like she's making.
Fake, then you can roll it, but
she's overdoing it. Let's say.
Okay, all right. Just roll it straight.
Okay. 6, 7. So Just to make sure it's slash rows space and then the number of dice d10.
Yeah, if you wanted the private roll, it's slash self and then.
He wants to do a performance first.
Just the
Oh,
performance
sorry.
first. So
Okay.
I think it's like roles not supported. What?
I know, I hate this rolling system. I really need to work out how I get a bot in Discord. I'm struggling with it though, to be honest.
Yeah, that's it. But repeat. I try to do things, but the actions are not supported for some reason. Yeah, I try to roll dice, but they're not letting me roll dice. Oh. Oh. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 1, 2. Well, yeah, that's six successes without counting specialties.
Okay, yeah, you make an excellent speech. Everyone is impressed. The governor smiles and does a little clap. She turns her hand over and just puts 2 of her fingers into her palm to clap for you. I mean, it's not the world's biggest clap, but what do you expect? She's a fucking bitch. So, you know, that's a level of that's a level of appreciation from her. So now roll your Vaudry rating, please.
Okay, it's done. I'll send it to you once. So she'll say, yeah, she drinks out of the cup, and I'll send you the thing afterwards.
Yeah. I'm loving these rolls, guys. Loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. I love the randomness of the Vaudry. Because you never know what's gonna fucking happen. So who's next?
I am.
Go for it, babe.
Please don't call me that. No, it's fine.
I was talking to Dr. Wilbrand. Go for it, man.
Yep, done, and I'll just mark it with a little thing. There we go.
Now, darling, what does it lay in store for you, my dear?
Ah,
I'm hoping for an all 10s roll.
shit it. All the small things.
Truth cares, truth brings.
It ain't so. I will not go.
Yeah.
All right, I got it. Can you see it?
Oh. Oh, you beautiful bitch. So, anyway.
Uh-huh.
Interesting. So, the storyteller is going to remain calm about the results of this section.
Nice.
So, yeah, so this happens. I'm going to have to roll individually for the NPCs as well in a bit. I'm going to do that secretly. But anyway, so this happens, and you all feel great. Just for the record, the blood tastes fucking fantastic. You're not really sure which element of the blood makes it taste good. You could hazard a guess that probably someone in here has got like low generation blood.
If Violet didn't drink out of it with a straw, I'm disappointed.
She respects she knows better than not to fuck with the governess really about this particular ritual.
Plus, that would give away where exactly we are in the world. Because straws are now banned in California.
That's a weird but good point.
Yes.
Anyway. So after this, the governess, she has the butlers come back in and they take the chalice away. It's been drained of all its contents. And they return with glasses of regular blood, which they come and put out, and then they all pour you a glass. And she sits down finally, crossing her legs, looks around at you all. So, is there anything else that anyone wants to bring to my attention while we're all here gathered together? I understand that there was an altercation the other day in the library with the professor. His tantrum will not be tolerated, which is why he was not invited to this votary. She looks around. I do hope that none of you were seriously injured.
Hurt quite a bit, but, well, being what we are, I'm better now.
Yeah. Wasn't exactly the most pleasant experience I've ever had in the library, but
It will not affect us in the future.
no.
We will be, rest assured, we will all be focused on accomplishing our task.
Unfortunately, the professor is a long-standing member of the Sabbat, and therefore he is afforded correct respect. However, he doesn't always play by the rules that I have set down for this facility, which are that I'm in command, and if I say that everybody here has free reign of the building, apart from level 6, that means exactly what I say. Please do not heed any more of his protestations about where or not you can go in the hospital. Nothing here belongs to him. It belongs to me. Are we understood on that?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfectly.
Yes, madam.
Good.
Yes, ma'am.
She smiles, but like it's weird. I mean, the governess is appearance 5. This is the first time Beatrice. I actually forgot to mention this. Beatrice has seen her with her mask off before, but nobody else has. Luckily none of you are playing Toreador. She's appearance 5, and she's, unless you've seen an appearance 5 person before, which is unlikely. by far and large the most beautiful woman you've ever seen. But it's a strange kind of beauty. It's very ethereal. There's not a single imperfection about her, which makes it look unnatural in a way. And she smiles, but when she smiles, you can, Taylor as an actress, you can tell that it's kind of like a fake smile. Maybe a practice smile, the kind of smile someone does to show emotion that they do not have. Good. Now, please feel free to speak. Is there anything you wish to discuss?
I had one question I wish to broach.
Of course.
When we discussed the topic of immortals earlier, I don't think we mentioned how many of us are there.
In this hospital or in general?
Both, if you're willing to indulge.
In this hospital, there are around 18 of our kind. Not including ghouls. In the place that we're going, to the United States, our army is considerable. Thousands. And you know very much, as what I do, that we can create. We are not stoppable. And we've already overthrown our enemy in several different states. The place where we'll be going after this asylum is brought under control is a state that is at the moment neutral territory, but will very quickly be ours. I've been chosen to lead this pack, and all of you have been chosen for greatness.
Well, when do we go, madam?
There are a couple of things that need to be neutralized first. We need to decide what we're going to do with the mortal population in this place. Now, I've been trying to convince the professor to stay on, but before we leave, we're going to have to make sure that more than one person stays on to keep it under control. And we're going to have, seeing as you all are, well, the majority of you are patients, and not everybody in here is in on the joke, as it were. We're going to have to either break out or make out, she says, laughing slightly. Depending on your personal circumstances, you're going to have to find a way out of this place. Now, I don't really care whether you break out or you make out, but everyone needs to be free of this place before we can all leave. And we need to do it without causing too much federal attention. Some of you I can help. Some of you, unfortunately... She places a hand on top of Beatrice. There. It's cold as the grave. She places her hand on top of Beatrice's. Some of you have more difficult circumstances, and therefore I fear you must be forced to be more proactive in your approach.
As soon as she says make out, Patricia can't stop looking at Dr. Wilbrand.
Lol.
Willembrand herself just seems to be following the conversation.
Now, perhaps now you can come to a joint decision between you whether you want to leave sooner rather than later. I can do my best for damage control, and to be honest, the feds be damned. It's just I want to make sure all my individual children are safe. That is all. Especially you, Taylor.
She's so smart at that.
Or may have to do a little bit of cosmetic alterations on you, darling.
She stopped smiling at that.
Your face, it is famous. That will get us attention. I'm afraid that can't be had.
If it must be done.
Look at me. Would you like to stay as you are, or would you like to be more beautiful? Or more ugly, both of which are possible.
Beatrice smiles and interjects herself somewhat playfully into that conversation. She'll say, careful, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah, and the governess reaches up with her gloved, actually, she's not wearing gloves, with her bare hand and touches Beatrice's face between the, over the, is she wearing a veil, or is that just...
Yeah.
She
No, it's pulled back now because she partook of laundry.
She just gently runs her tip of her finger over Beatrice's cheekbone, and she says, "Of course, one can never perfect on a masterpiece." And then she turns to Taylor and says, "But things can be done, and they will be done."
She'll just nod.
But you all need to come to a consensus about how you want to leave this place. And then my role will be to... I have a lot of duties to perform administratively and preparing our arrival. I have to liaise with the independents on the other side. Unfortunately, the untasteful bunch that they are.
One more question that might have a bearing on whether we choose to break out or make out. Will there be other waves of immortals coming after us?
Physically, no. Depending on your personal circumstances, potentially with the realms of mortal influence. It's nothing I haven't dealt with before. I find that the less waves we have to make, the better.
Mm.
But even though I am your pack mistress, that I am not your dictator. As Canaanites, we carve our own way in this life.
She nods at that.
Perhaps you can, or one of you can be elected to talk to TJ. His grandsire... She sighs. She obviously doesn't like this person that she's talking about. You can tell by the tone of her voice. His grandsire is an independent bruiser. He was helping us. I believe she has quite a lot of influence, so maybe you can encourage him to speak with his pack. If you're going to go the make-out route.
Just, yeah, Taylor smirks.
Just bear in mind, Taylor, that if you are going to deal with the independents, you're going to be dealing with two particularly disgusting Nosferatu.
Yeah, she doesn't hide it. She makes a weird face like, ew.
I know. Bruiser and Nosferatu. Never a mix I thought I'd see. Is there anything else we need to discuss?
Not at this time. I think we should all come to a consensus, but I have gone over the doctor's, well, the professor's notes about the staff of, well, most of the staff that is not under our influence. I have compiled those who could be persuaded in one way or the other.
The governess reaches into her purse and slides over a pack of cigarettes towards Dr. Wilburn.
She'll take it.
Offer these to the nurse on duty. Her name is Gloria. She will talk. She's a woman of low morale. And somewhat of a leader amongst the nurses. See if you can get them to all corroborate. One way or another. I see that you've already been chicken pecking the guards, Mr. Lundy.
Damien just smiles. I figured they're the only people in this place who look like they could do some damage. They have a monopoly on violence, so I figured it would be best to get on their good side.
Excellent initiative.
Well, the orderlies around here. I'm not saying that they're not good people, but you don't bring in a pepper spray to a gunfight.
On that note, when you leave the room, please take the leather pouch that is on the right side of the door. I believe it might be something you're looking for.
Oh. Thank you, ma'am.
Anything else? I have paperwork to do. Business
No.
pleasure.
Thank you, Mother. She bows quite deeply at the governess and heads out.
And Damien will smile and do the same. He'll head out and see what that pouch that she mentioned is all about.
Everybody else? You notice that your sire, Taylor, he's a little bit more subdued now. He stopped being such an ass. He does put his arm around you when you leave, though. Or try to.
She don't does it. She'll let him. She'll probably take his wrap her arms around his arm and lean into him.
Great speech, babe.
I know. Now, let's go have some private fun. She'll smile at him.
Dr. Willenbrand will just have a look at Patricia when she exits. She'll just ask. I'm curious, what was that look in there?
Oh, and you can see that she's a little bit uncomfortable, but in the way that you are when you speak to someone you like, and she's like, oh, nothing. Okay, I can hear myself in someone's echo. It's really fucking annoying. Okay, sorry. She giggles a little bit and goes, I just thought I saw something on your face, but I didn't.
Lol, what is ever.
So no worries. She smiles. Can I roll manipulation to try to get away with this?
Yeah, roll manipulation, because that's obvious bullshit.
Manipulation subterfuge.
Well, to your Milbrand is not the most adept at, well,
you guys can decide
social
if you
shit.
want to make it a social roll.
I have 4 successes.
If Wilbrand...
Yeah, I have yeah, I have 4 dice.
Oh, okay.
Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have 3 successes. But she just stands there and says, "All right, well, we're working together, so we could just speak plainly, and
Sure.
that's it will be it'll make things easier. But
Yeah,
nice
definitely.
today was nice. I'm looking forward to working together." And she smiles, a light smile, and she'll be heading off. She seems to be looking for Dr. Wicker.
Dr. Wicker's headed out. She's carrying her clipboard. She's not too far ahead.
She'll walk up to her.
She smiles. Everything okay?
Yes, everything is okay.
You feeling alright?
It was wonderful. Do we still have a date tonight?
I'd hate for our nightcaps to be halted just because of the bond being broken.
She smiles. No need.
No reason why we can't continue, is there?
No. Obviously not.
She smiles.
And
She smiles seductively, Alex says, with a really poor description. But that's the
I will spend a willpower.
Okay, what are you spending willpower for?
For that roll.
What roll?
2 successes on a manipulation subterfuge roll.
Okay, you're lying then.
Yeah.
Alright. Back in the boardroom, the governor, once everybody else has left, Violet's just sort of happily skipped off. The governess turns to Beatrice and she says, "We're going to have so much fun together. Just think of all the things we could do to that TV bimbo's face. Of course we're going to be nice and make her beautiful, but
Of course.
her face is
Smart.
so many modifications. But
I do admire your skilled hand.
well, you've got a long way to go, but you show so much promise already. I'm sure we can pass our time while we're waiting for the rest of them to sort themselves out with some experiments. We've got plenty of subjects here.
Her eyes light up at the prospect of that.
It's one thing I will miss about this place is on the outside world it's so much harder to come by. Test subjects. Toys. You have to work a bit harder on the outside, but sometimes that's a thrill, you know? A thrill that I won't take away from you. You'll have to find it out for yourself.
Well, under your expert tutelage, I've already discovered ways to make mortals complacent, so I just have to cover up their disappearance from there.
So much easier for those of our blood. We are gifted with so much concealment and so much power. It's hard not to feel sorry for those who weren't gifted with our bloodline, because they will never know the true power that we are.
Indeed.
I'm afraid I must away.
Sure.
Work.
Powerhead. Good evening, governess.
I'll listen for the screams.
She smirks.
She says, and she gives you a genuine smile. You can see it. It's very much. It's a hairpin smile. It sort of curls up at the bottom.
Right.
And she stands and turns and walks out of the room. And I think that'll be the moment that we end the scene. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. Until next time.